Thank you, Jerry. And it's so great being here this evening with all you Zone 25A Rotarians. So I'd like to start tonight with a question. What is Rotary? It's a great question that's asked regularly. Some people say that Rotary is a membership organization. Some say Rotary is a service organization. Well, what I say and what Stephanie says is we are Rotary. All of you on the screen, the members are national. And Rotary International is a membership organization that does the world's best service. Now, how do we know this? If you look at Article 5 of our Rotary policies, it states that Rotary and growing Rotary is our #1 internal priority, with eradicating polio being our #1 external programmatic priority. Now, we often talk about the importance of growing Rotary. It was mentioned tonight. But why do we want to grow Rotary? The answer is we want to grow Rotary to have more hands and hearts to do more good in the world through serving others. So how do we grow Rotary? Well, Carmen mentioned what Stephanie says. Stephanie taught me and all of us that there's only 3 ways to grow Rotary. 1, we could attract new members and add them to our existing clubs. 2, we could retain our members in our existing clubs by engaging them through projects and socials. And 3, we can start new clubs. That's it. Those are the only 3 ways. But what President Stephanie always tells me is we have to do all 3 at the same time. Now, there's one other thing that we need to mention when it comes to membership, and that's the club experience. Some people call it the club culture. It wraps around all 3 of the things that we talked about. Club culture is the way we operate. If things are going smoothly in your club, you have growth, you have diversity, you have foundation giving, you have activity in all 5 areas of service, you're getting grants approved, and so on, your club's culture is a source of strength. However, if things are not going smoothly in your club, because there's a decline in one of those areas or several of those areas, your culture may need shifting to something different. Of course, that shifting takes change. And change is often met with resistance because it's based in the fear of the unknown. So if your club culture is good, it makes it easy to attract members. It makes it easy to engage members. However, if your culture is not good, you may need to change that culture or start a new club. So Stephanie is an expert on this, and it's truly my honor to introduce her to you tonight, our next Rotary International President, Stephanie. Now, it would take a long time for me to tell you all the reasons why Stephanie is the right person right now to be our international president, but I only have a few minutes here, so I'll keep it brief. I first met Stephanie 6 years ago at a president-elect learning seminar in Iowa. I was assigned to be her aide for the weekend. I admit I was a bit intimidated when she told me she always wanted to work for the United States Central Intelligence Agency or its Federal Bureau of Investigation. All I could think of was, don't mess with Steph. But what I found out was something different. One of my duties that weekend was to drive Stephanie around to get her to where she needed to be. She didn't get upset with me when I made my first and second wrong turns. So I decided everything was going to be okay. So over the years, Stephanie and I have become really good friends. We share a passion, like our director said tonight, for growing Rotary membership and helping others do the same. Now, presenting and facilitating with Stephanie at various learning events around the world, like the one we have here tonight, I've gotten to know her very well. And my respect for her has grown, not just as a leader, but as a person. She is capable, she's sure of herself, and she makes everything a team effort. She is interested in other people's opinions, like all of yours on the screen here tonight, and she cares deeply for others. Stephanie showed me that you can have a big impact on the whole world by affecting one Rotarian or one person in need or one family member at a time. I remember when we had a situation of an earthquake in Turkey, and people, the Rotarians in Turkey, got together and had a project where they were donating containers where people who lost their homes could live in. Well, Stephanie called me up and said, let's donate a container. So I checked with my family. That's exactly what we did. And the money that she was saving for her kitchen stove, she decided to donate to that project. That's just the kind of person she is. So I'm excited that all of you get to meet her here tonight or reacquaint yourself with her tonight. So please welcome Stephanie with a big round of applause. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. And oh, family of Rotary, hola, I'm so excited to be with you tonight. You know, I am so fond of so many things in Mexico, but what I love the most is your passion and your love for Rotary. When I look at how many people are on this call tonight, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know, way over 300. And you know, it's a Thursday night. You could be doing so many other things tonight. You could be at the beach, at a movie, shopping, having dinner, but you're here at a Rotary event, and that tells me that you have a very special passion and love for Rotary. So when Kiki's invited me to be with you tonight, she said, we'd like you to talk about the magic of Rotary. And that's what I'm going to do. But I do want to say special thank you to Kiki's and Jerry and Carmen and Carlos and Salvador for all those opening comments, because you helped me get a feel for how strong things are in Zone 25A. Now, I do want to make one other comment, that as we were coming on, I was watching the screen and looking at people, and I just love that you have decided to use the color orange. Orange is one of the colors that I'm using as well. Now, I heard Kiki say that it's because it's an energizing color, and it is, and it's a vibrant color, and it is, but for me, it's also a color that represents change. Because if you think about the seasons, and when the leaves start to fall, first they turn orange because things are changing. So I selected orange as one of my colors, and I'm delighted to see so much of it on the screen tonight. So I thank you for wearing it. So I did want to share with you the story about where the magic of Rotary came from and what it actually means and what we're supposed to do with it. Now, I know some of you have heard the story, or you've read it on the website or in the magazine, but I want you to hear it from me. Now, I know there are some of you on the call who are from the Dominican Republic, and I want you to know that's where the story came from. In 2010, I was in Aguas Negras with my district, and we were there to help install water filters, biosand water filters. And so my job was to go into the homes and put the filters together and then show people how to use them, how to clean them, and then we would test it to make sure it worked. So I found myself in a Haitian home. So it was a family of 5. There was a grandmother and a mother and 3 little boys. And so I did put the filter together, and I showed the women how to put the chlorine in, and I showed them how to use it. And then we did the test. So the test was, we took dirty water and put it in one side, and it came out the other side clean. And then we put dirty water in again, and it came out clean. And I'll never forget when I stopped the test, one of the little boys ran up to me and he tugged on my sleeve and he said, lady, show me that magic again. And that phrase stuck with me. And I realized that the water filters were not the magic. The magic was what was going to happen to that family now that they had access to clean water. Those little boys could go back to school. The women didn't have to walk forever to find clean water. So that was creating lasting change for that family. And as I thought about it, I realized that every single one of us, every one of you on this call, every Rotaractor, every Interactor, every Rotarian, you have been a part of something that created magic. And for most of us, we end up feeling it. I call that feeling that we get psychic income. That's our salary. We all get the same salary. Salvador, you and I get the same salary in Rotary. And that's what it is. It's psychic income. And I thought, that is a phrase that it will resonate with the Rotary world. And indeed, it has. All around the world, people are embracing the magic of Rotary and using it as a way to rally around the service that we provide. So what exactly does it mean when I ask people to embrace the magic of Rotary? Well, you've heard me talk about another phrase, and that phrase is simply irresistible. I'm asking clubs and districts and zones around the world to take a look at themselves and use our action plan to figure out how can we go from good to great, or how can we go from not so good to better. And in doing that, we create clubs that are irresistible. You heard Tom mention the club experience. That's exactly what we sell in Rotary. People come to our events and to our meetings and to things like this Zoom meeting, and they want them to be fantastic. And so we want to do what we can to make all of these things irresistible so that people are attracted to us. They're on the outside looking in saying, what are all those Rotarians doing? They're having a great time and they're changing the world. I want to be a part of that. Or they're with us already and they say the same thing. I'm having such a great time in this organization. I don't want to leave. So becoming simply irresistible is what our action plan can help us do. And I was delighted to see Victor and Benicio and Guillermo, I can't even say that, sorry, on the screen, because you're our action plan folks, and you're going to help to champion the cause and get the message into all of our Rotary clubs. So what the magic of Rotary means is that we continue to do the things we need to do in the priorities of our action plan. We're increasing our impact. We're getting better with our reach. We're improving our engagement of people, and we're increasing our ability to adapt. That's the magic of Rotary. When we get together and unite and bring all of that together and do the things that we do to create lasting change in our communities and around the globe, that's the magic of Rotary. One final thing that I'd like to share with you is the importance of spreading the magic of Rotary. It's so important for us to do that. There are many people, none of you, all of you on this call know what Rotary is. But there are many people who are not on our call tonight who don't have any idea what Rotary is. Or if they do, they have the wrong idea. Very often people think we are, and you heard me say this before in Mexico, they think we're Romeo, rich old men eating out. Well, look at this screen. That's not who we are at all. But it is our job to say that to people, to get that message across. And I always talk to non-Rotary audiences by beginning with that. I say, you know what, we've changed. We're very different. And of course we have. Think about it. In the late 80s, we brought in women. In 2016, we had a council on legislation that said, wait a minute, the world is changing. People may want to experience Rotary differently. So they created models for us, e-clubs and corporate clubs and satellite clubs and cause-based club, all kinds of different ways for people who have the heart and hands for service and who share our same value system to come into our organization. So I'm not talking about just getting anybody off the street and saying, come to our meeting. No, I'm talking about the right kind of person. And you know who they are. They're your friends. They're your relatives, your associates, your neighbors. You know them. They're people who are just like you. And we need to share that message. You know, I told an audience earlier today that I feel sorry for people who sit next to me on an airplane because all I do the whole flight is talk about Rotary until they put their headphones on. But it's important for us to do that. I've recruited people on planes, at business meetings, in restaurants, because I share and spread the magic of Rotary. So that's what I'm asking you to do as well. You have such energy and such passion and such love for Rotary. Let's make sure that we're spreading that message all around so that people can understand who we are and what we do. So when we do invite people into Rotary, I hope that you think about this, and instead of inviting them to a club meeting, invite them to a project or invite them to a social so they can see who we are and how we do it. Because too often at our meetings, and I'm guilty of this too, we stand up and we say things like, the DG is coming to visit after COL, but before RILA. And if we have a new person that we've invited, they may become confused by all of those acronyms. So I generally prefer to take someone to a social or to a project where they can actually help us and actually do the work of Rotary. So I am going to stop here, and I just wanted to end by saying how much I've appreciated the invitation to be here, and I hope that you will show the world, spread the magia de Rotary.